Right, Campbell's comments tonight. Coming in from Australia, catching up with Derek Delany, all the way from Ireland. Firstly, welcome to Campbell's comments for the first time, Derek.
Thanks very much, Bob.
We are here to cover off on a few things, but we're probably going to find out a little bit more about yourself and Ireland. But the one thing, I think we'll get the message out there from the start. We're here to promote the Vincent Delaney Memorial Weekend, which is coming up on August 12 to 13. It's a weekend that means a little bit to you, or a lot to you and your family, but it's also a very, very big meeting in harness racing as well there in Ireland, mate.
Yeah, it is, yeah. The event it's actually been held in Wales the last couple of years. Track in Dublin, where we first held the event back in 2012 till I think it was 2021, is now closed. So we moved to Wales to St. Prince. It's just a ferry ride across, and it's like 40 miles to far side. So it's handy enough for access for the Irish horsemen travelling over, you know.
How long does that take? 40 miles?
It's 40 miles drive. It's on the ferry. It is 3.5 hours approximately.
Yep.
So, and you can get a quicker boat that goes in an hour and 45 minutes, I think, but it's around 3 hours 15 minutes, and from Dublin Port, and then you get the Holyhead, and then it's like a 40 mile. It's an hour drive from the port to the far side of the racetrack. So
it's not too bad. We will get on. We might touch on racing and how it all looks over there and that in a minute. But the Vincent Delaney Memorial, Vincent Delaney is your brother?
Yeah, Vincent was my younger brother. We had 3 brothers in our family. James is the older brother, which is a partner in our studs here. And then the younger brother is Vincent. And he passed away at 27 back in 2011 where he had a heart attack and passed away. And in 2012, we had the inaugural memorial in his memory for 2-year-old pacers. Mainly, there was not really 2-year-old races here. There was a couple, but there might only be 2-3 horse races, but there was nothing of any kind of magnitude to promote breeding and make people invest in the breeding and so on. So when we were thinking about the memorial, we thought that we'd do it for 2-year-olds. Everyone told us we were mad. It couldn't happen. We don't have the facilities. You know, it's not going to walk, 3-year-olds it has to be. But we stuck with the game plan and went with it. The first year we had 31 nominations into the stakes race. So I think back at that time it was like €5,300 we got stakes money, and we had a race for 10,000. We said no matter what, we're going to race for 10,000 to promote the race. And we got Ladbrokes, which is familiar in Australia, over here to sponsor. So it was good to have their name involved with it. And away we went, and this year we in stakes fees I think we've took in £135,000 sterling.
That's for the whole. So is that for the whole carnival, or?
So basically we started with the 2-year-olds, and then when we got the 2-year-olds up and running, we added the 3-year-olds, and we got the 3-year-olds up and running, we added the 4-year-olds, and then we added a free-for-all pace, and we've added some other races, but it's basically for the stakes races. So for the 2, 3 and 4-year-olds, they're running for approximately €150,000.
Wow, that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's massive. Like the first prize in the 2-year-olds is £20,000 sterling, so it's approximately 30,000 Australian. I think it's even more. Is it a pound to the Australian dollar? Probably one. It's probably somewhere in the region of $35,000 to the winner of each division. At the beginning as well, it was a mixed sex race because we didn't have the numbers. But now, since 2016, we're able to have 2 separate divisions, one for the fillies and one for the colts.
Outstanding. That's you've given me a lot to take in there. The stake money, the rest. Okay, so you race it over the 12 and 13. Are all your stakes races on the 13th, or how does it work?
So with the 2-year-olds, because it's the geography with the UK and Ireland, and it's a combined race, it's always been there's probably more GB horses entered than there would be Irish horses, even when it was in Ireland, because it's obviously a bigger population over there and so on. So we run heats for the 2-year-olds on the Saturday, if there has to be a heat. So we run 2 elimination heats on the Saturday, and then we run the finals on the Sunday, and that goes for the 3-year-olds as well.
And that'll happen.
So Sunday.
That happens this year.
Sunday is final. Yeah. So I estimate that there's going to be heats for the 2-year-old cows and fillies, and there'll be heats for the 3-year-old cows, I think, this year. And the 3-year-old fillies is going to be a straight final, I'd say, on the Sunday.
Wow. How many horses will get to this meeting?
I would say somewhere in the region of probably about 170 or 80 horses, something like that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant, yeah.
Mutual friend of ours, this is how this all came about, was Mark Hughes. I actually think, well, I better be careful. Are Woodland sponsoring a race over this weekend?
Next year, I think they're looking at sponsoring the feature races, yeah.
I had to be careful because Andrew Grierson, he might have watched it and he might have gone, what? But I mean...
Well, maybe the airport.
That's how Andrew finds out a few of these things. But I mean, Mark went over there and he'd spoken to you guys a few times about it. Racing in Ireland is a lot bigger than what a lot of us here in Australia think about it. But between Great Britain and Wales, by the sounds of it, it's really big.
Yeah, well, there's a big community and race. There's racing every weekend, you know. Sometimes there's racing probably in the UK. There's probably racing 3-4 times a week, and then the same in Ireland. They can race probably twice a week, say, in Ireland. You know, on average. Like there could be weekend meetings or a bank holiday where they might race 3 times. You know,
always on the weekend.
Always on the weekend. In the UK, there might be some Tuesdays.
Okay. Are they all TAB meetings or betting, like bookies? There's always bookies, I know that, but is it like...
Yeah, it's all on-course betting, unfortunately, you know. I think some of the racing in the UK from Tier Prince, where we're holding the Vincent Delaney Memorial, used to be streamed into Australia. There was some betting done in Australia on the races up to, I think, as far as last year.
Is that happening this year?
No, I don't know why or what's going on there, but no, they've done a bit. I don't think it was that much, to be honest, Paul, but that was the only off-course wagering really that was going on with the UK and Ireland, and that's the problem. You know, there's no outside funding coming in. Just a small bit from the government in Ireland, but nothing substantial, you know.
So the government get behind you. They're encouraging.
They're starting to slowly but surely, you know. But there's nothing substantial to make a big difference. But I suppose at grassroots level, they're helping with the stud book and they're helping with some grants, like, you know, for I think the track and some equipment and offices and stuff like that. But nothing major as such, you know.
Is it growing, Derek?
I believe so. The breeding is getting a lot. There's one thing we do have, and what I think there's a bit of a future in, is the breeding and the export of horses to America. You know, it's making it viable for the breeders in the UK and Ireland to breed horses, and the yearling sales has gone up since the VDM has come along, since the Vincent Delaney Memorial has come along. It's pushed the yearling prices way up. So we're starting to get better stallions into the country, and there's better breeding going on, you know. For example, this year's Vincent Delaney Memorial, I was only talking to a friend of mine on the phone there, before the card even comes in, like, you couldn't pick a winner. You couldn't pick the winner, you know, of the 2-year-old cows and fillies, and the same can be said for the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds. So that to me is showing that the product is getting better, you know, and it's getting more and more competitive. So I think that's probably where our future stands just right now, with revenue to come back into the industry to allow the breeders going on, because the yearling sales, as I said, are getting good prices for good yearlings, and at the export, when the horses are kind of finished with the 4-year-old stakes racing, they're being purchased for the likes of Ron Burke is buying a good few horses we facilitated over here, and there's other American trainers buying from the UK owners and stuff like that. So the GB and Irish horses are becoming more and more down to the US. So that can only be a good thing for the sport as well, I think, you know.
So they're going to the US and winning?
Yeah. There's 3 horses gone to the US in recent years that have gone 49.
Gone 49?
49, yeah, 49. And there was a 3-year-old filly exporter that we actually bred here by our own stallion, and she raced in the Jugget and she raced in the Graduate as a 4-year-old at Grand Circus. She won a leg of the Graduate. She was racing Test of Fate. She was third in the Jugget final. She's the first horse ever to be bred outside of America to race in the Jug. You know,
first horse ever.
First horse ever, yeah. So she's been a 49 as a 3-year-old as well. So the breed is coming on, and she's by her own stallion that's stood here. So for closure,
foreclosure's available in WA. I think someone in WA is standing him. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, Cody Charles, KCC Bloodstocker from there for a minute. Yeah. So yeah, like, you know, if you had said to me 10 years ago, like, you know, in 10 years' time you're going to have, or 8 years' time you're going to have a filly there that's going to be racing the Jugget, I would have said, you know, crazy, you know, like, you know, that was always the goal, but to get to that level, I think is, you know, it's rewarding to see the breed get up to that standard, you know.
Before we go too far, the Vincent Delaney Memorial is on the 12th and 13th of August, which is next weekend. Can we watch it live anywhere? Do you know if here in Australia will we be able to?
There is going to be a live stream that you have to purchase the live stream. That was just like back to the same thing again with costs and stuff for the track. So there is going to be a live stream link, and we'll share that on the Vincent Delaney Memorial Facebook page.
Right, so that's the easiest way to find it. Now, how I found it is actually through Oakwood Stud, and then there's a link to the Vincent Delaney. But Vincent Delaney Memorial is a Facebook page in itself.
Page, yeah, and the link will be shared there, and also it'll be shared on the Tier Prince Harness Racing page.
On the who?
So Tier Prince, so it's TIR Tier Prince PRINCE.
Yep.
Harness Racing on Facebook.
And who is that?
That's the racetrack.
Okay, so that's a Wales racetrack.
Yeah, that's Tier Prince. That's where we're holding the event. Yeah.
Rightio. So that's for the Vincent Delaney Memorial, which is what I got Derek on here to talk about. Sit back and make yourself a coffee, because I reckon this is going to be one of those little chats that might just go a little bit longer. He's just finished his coffee. I haven't had my tea, but we'll be right. We will get there. Congratulations on what you've built there too, Derek, before we do get off it with the Vincent Delaney. I would imagine for the entire family it would mean a lot. So well done for what you've been able to achieve and continue to grow with the money. I think that's huge. And harness racing is probably negative a lot of the time, so this is a very positive story, although it came from a bit of grief. So well done to you guys and everyone behind the scenes, not just you, because I'm talking to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Paul. Yeah, no, you're right. There isn't. There's been from the start, like, there's been huge like support and voluntary and people coming voluntary, because it's all voluntary. Nobody gets paid, you know, out of this. It's just a celebration of Vincent's Memorial, and to help harness racing along the way as much as we can as well, you know. I think you were just saying there off camera, when you started this, you didn't think it was going to get as big so quick, and we're the exact same. Like, you know, it's kind of sometimes, you know, leading up to the event, I'd be shaking my head going, what am I doing? You know, like, you know, we have great help, and, you know, we have a committee, and we have a lot of people there come on voluntary. Like, there's some great brains on the committee and work hard. So I'm grateful for the work that everyone puts in, but it has become a big deal in every way, you know. Yeah,
no, it sounds it. It absolutely sounds it. Okay. I don't know where to start this. How many horses do you sell at your yearling sales? This is where everyone can have their cup of coffee. We are going to talk, I suppose, Ireland and Great Britain harness racing would be the best way to, and Wales. We'll get into trouble from Katy Perry and Mike and everyone else, but we'll talk all of those included. But we'll just stick with the Irish for a start. But we might end up doing a few of these going forward, just to, I suppose, break down some barriers so people are aware of it. How many horses go for a yearling sales? And how many yearling sales do you have there in Ireland?
we don't actually have a yearling sale in Ireland. We had one year a couple of years ago that we organised. We helped organise it during COVID. But the main sale is in York Harness Racing racetrack in the UK. So the Irish ship the horses over to the sales in the UK to sell them there, you know. So the numbers are increasing. I think last year, roughly, there was about 50 yearlings.
Yep.
And from what I hear, there's probably going to be a lot more than that this year as well. So, you know, it's a sign that the breeding is growing, you know.
All right. How many stallions? Actually gets back to your Jugette comment you just said there. How many stallions would stand in the three zones as well? Countries. I shouldn't say zones.
Yeah. It's kind of all interlinked anyway. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I call it's a circuit. You know, like, you know, some people might disagree with that, but I think it's all the one really. You know, the Irish go over there and race in the UK a lot as well, all their feature races. So I suppose it's a bit like New Zealand and Australia that way. But stallions, I would say, roughly standing, there's probably maybe about 40.
40?
Maybe about 40, yeah.
So
combined, I would say 40. And then there's frozen semen here for like Sweet Leo, Captain Crunch, obviously Mickey, somebody else is the Irish Harness Racing Club. They have frozen semen for Betting Lion, Heston Blue Chip, and Cattle Wash.
Wow.
And then there's live stallions. Then like there was a brother to Blissful Hall here for a long time. He would have been leading stallion called Hasty Hall. He would have been leading stallion there. I think he just retired last year, you know.
So do people tend to, I suppose, keep a lot of their own horses, if that makes sense? Like there's owner. Yeah, so they breed their own horse, and you know, since the likes of these superior stallions has come in, and people are breeding to those, and then hopefully, you know, racing the offspring then themselves, and then, you know, obviously going to breed those fillies onwards or whatever. So yeah, you have that, and then you have the commercial breeder as well. How many horses bred a year?
It's a lot of questions. So, I would say,
I told everyone to make a coffee, so don't stress. You don't have to rush.
Yeah, don't rush. Take your time. I think probably, see, the statistics are hard to find, Paul, to be honest. You know, I'd say off the top of my head, there's probably about 450 mares being bred between the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, that's good numbers, and if it is slowly increasing, at some point in time you're going to get a shock at how many horses you do have.
Yeah, I could be wrong there. Like, it could be a bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Because you do hear numbers like, but you know, and then some of them you can check out, and then the mares the mares being bred is not all recorded like the way it would be in Australia and stuff like that. So, you know, like if a stallion has 30 mares mating certificates applied for, he might have done 50. You know, you don't have the record for the other 20. So, I could be wrong there with saying that there could be more than that. You know,
is that one of the struggles you've got at the minute, trying to, I suppose, get the stud book a little bit more in line, if that's the right word, or, you know, streamlined?
Yeah, it is improving though. It is improving, like, you know, databases and stuff like that. And there's two breed societies. So one is called Stagby, and they used to look after the breed and the passports in Ireland and the UK. But since Brexit and so on, the Irish have their own stud book now, so they're kind of playing catch up. Like, and Stagby have just launched a new website as well, which is very advanced. And I haven't had a lot of time to look around it yet, but it does look like it has everything you need in there. So, and they're also doing applications for mating certificates online and stuff like that. So that's a step forward, you know.
Oh no,
up to that.
Hopefully,
up to that, the print, you know, it's cardboard, like the print cover plates and send them out to you and stuff, and then you have to post them to the breeder, and then they have to post them back to, you know, register and so on.
It's one of the things we're trying to do over here, is make it all electronic. So I would imagine if we can get it electronic in countries like Australia and America and that where they can be done, that data would be easy enough to probably transfer over. It might take a year or two still to come to Ireland, but it'd be good if it does get to that stage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I'm on like Pathway and the USTA, and anything you need to know, you just go in there and the information is there, so we can get to that level. It'd be super.
Oakwood Stud, how many, like you guys stand stallions there yourselves?
Yeah, we stand one stallion and one live stallion, and then we have browsing same for Sweet Ale, Captain Crunch, and Always Be Mickey.
How many mares on the farm?
We have probably around 16 to 20 mares, including a couple of clients. So we have kind of on average 10 or 12 mares ourselves. And
do you sell at the sales, or are you one of these guys that you sell?
No, we sell. Yeah. Last year we actually one of the fillies got a drop in her foot before she went to the sale, so we retained her up and put her in training. And then there was another client yearling here. And we purchased that, and we've had 2 fillies in training this year for the first time in a long time,
Well, we said there before. Sorry, we said there before. Sorry? We said there before about my friends Katie Evans and Mike. They train one of those horses for you, a Lazarus filly, I believe.
They do, yeah. So she's racing in Vincent's heats next weekend. So hopefully she has a A game on.
Does Mike drive?
Mike drives, yeah. He trains and drives there, yeah.
Yep.
She's coming along. It's a bit green, like, too, but she's doing a nice enough thing. She had a good run last weekend in the UK. I was over watching, and she had a tough trip, but she was trying to race, so she is learning. So who knows how much she'll improve now to next week. And, fingers crossed we get a bit of luck and she surprises us,
How many paces, like, I don't know why, I always just envisaged it was all trotting, but it sounds like there's more paces over there than there is actually trotting. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it was always more pacing in over in Ireland and the UK, and there used to be like kind of European trotters here. Like there might be one trot or 2 trots per meet. The French Trotting Association, the Trot, have put horses in recent years, and they subsidise the prize money and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people doing that in Ireland, more so than the UK. So they could have probably 50-50 pacers to trotters on a race card, maybe 60 pacers, 40 trotters, something like that.
Yep. Yeah. It's actually
all French.
All French trotters.
All French, yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys? You're all pacing by the sounds of you. You said the stallions you've got there. You're all pacing, you guys.
Yeah, we did stand a French stallion a couple of years back, and he's done well. His offspring have done well in the stakes program here, but there just isn't enough mares, Paul. Like we tried to support the breeding, and we were asked, and we did, and we leased a good horse, and his offspring have been winning everything. So it was obviously the right move, but just the numbers just don't stack up,
Yeah. You sort of throw me so many curveballs. How did the Delaneys get into harness racing? Is it a family affair, or is it something you guys stumbled across?
We kind of stumbled across. As I was saying to you there off air, we had horses as kids, and we had walking horses, and back in the 80s and everybody was a horse and cart, like if you wanted to deliver coal or fuel or whatever, you had a horse and cart. So we were kind of on horse and carts, and there was a racing yard probably about 2 miles from our house, so they used to jog them on the road past the house, like when we were kids as well, and we kind of ended up in that yard there, and I think the bug bit us, and kind of a few years down the road then we ended up buying a pacer and went back to the track, because Portmarnock, where the track used to be, the close in Dublin, was only probably 3 miles from our house. So we were in the racing yard, and then we used to go down to the track then with the owners of that, the Wallace family, which would be steeped in harness racing in Ireland for many years, So that's how we got involved. We bought a horse then in 2000, I think it was, 23 years ago, to race, and the rest is history, as they say.
It is. It's just it's a cool story. How long's harness racing been going in Ireland? throw you under the bus again.
I think it goes back to the early 1900s.
Yep. So long time.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, it's this tradition. Like they race on saddle, on the saddle in West Cork. I think it's probably even to the late 1800s. Like, you know, it's years and years. They close off the road down there in West Cork where Mark was down there with us at racing. They closed the main road and strap 3 bales of straw together and put sand around it. And they go half a mile out the other side of the road and they do the same. And they race them on the saddle out the road around the bales and back down for over distances of 1 mile to 2 miles. So that's entertaining. But that's a tradition they've down there over 100 years.
But you don't road race as often now. Like there was a stage 10, 15 years ago, which pretty much you guys didn't have tracks at all. So people would block a road off so you could use the roads to race on. That doesn't happen as often now?
No, that doesn't happen. That never happened with track racing. Like, so there's always been tracks that we race on turf, like, which is the grass, and then they race on a hard track. There's been hard tracks there for as way back as I can remember, before my time even, you know. There is some road racing that's done, illegal road racing. There is over in Ireland and GB that doesn't do the sport any good.
No.
You know, it gives it it gives it a bad name when, you know, when you're trying to explain harness racing to people. You're kind of nearly anyone outside of harness racing, they are trying to explain what harness racing is in Ireland or the UK. Unfortunately, you have to explain to them it's not that you know, it's a professional sport, you know, that's done on track under rails and so on. So
no, absolutely. Best horse you bred, Derek?
Oakwood Annabella.
Is that the Jugette filly?
Yeah. We actually purchased her back. We sold her 6,500 at the Ireland sale. She went on to be champion. Like, she's the fastest 2-year-old filly that's ever been in Ireland or the UK. She went over there competing and she got a bit of a tendon injury, and we heard that she was off and that she might be for sale because the Americans bought her off the Irish lads, and we ended up going out on a limb, and buying her back. So she was definitely more expensive than what we sold her for, put it that way. And but we just thought it was the right thing to do, Paul. To be honest, it was the biggest purchase we've ever given for any horse. But I just felt it was the right thing to, you know, she gave harness racing, not just for us, for the whole of Ireland and GB. She gave everybody some buzz to follow her. Like, you know, it was kind of like, I explained, it's kind of like the football team getting into the World Cup finals or something like that. You know, everybody was watching and everybody was buzzing about her. So I just thought it was the right thing to do. So she's out there in the field just literally looking out the window at her, and she's in foul with the Captain Crunch. So fingers crossed.
Is that her first fault? Is that her first fault?
That just to be her first. That's her first pregnancy.
Yeah, rightio. So when's she due?
She is due around next March.
Oh yeah, because we're nearly following. So yeah, that's right. You'd be behind us. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys race any?
Which I was just saying that we had a couple of 2-year-olds. My brother James.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I actually meant did you train? Sorry, that came out the wrong way.
Yeah. We used to train. My brother had the trainer's license, so he was the trainer. So he would have trained like Annabella's mother, Carmel Camden, her name is, and she was champion 2- and 3-year-old in Ireland and stuff like that. So, kind of when we got more involved in the breeding back 2014, we kind of went more professional with the breeding, and then he stopped the training because we just thought we'd concentrate on the one thing instead of trying to do both, you know?
Yeah. Rude question. Hopefully no one's listening. Can you make money out of harness racing in Ireland?
We are at the moment being sustainable, with the breeding, and we're able to take a wage, and the business is going all right. You could be, you know, if it wasn't for the passion, I don't think it would be on the priority list, if I'm honest. You know, but we're passionate about it, and we're committed to trying to bring the sport forward and invest in our stock and in our facilities, and we'll just keep pushing on so far, it's working, and hopefully, it's like everybody, isn't it? You're always trying to get it right. You're trying to get the right mares, isn't you? You're trying to, you're always chasing the next Oakwood Annabella, isn't you? But so far our yearling prices have come up to a good standard, and we're making a living. And we have a couple of staff, like there's 5 of us here in total. So yeah, it's going all right.
It sounds exciting. Hughes, he's trying to get a road trip going, and he's trying to get me down. I think is it in August? I think he said.
Yeah, it's August. Sorry,
You're right.
Someone trying to call there. Yeah, it was just someone trying to call. Yeah, he was talking about coming over next year for the event. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, you just haven't. Those people keep trying to get through modern technology. Derek, thanks for joining me. It's mid-afternoon for you. It's nearly 9 o'clock over here, Australian time. But thank you very much for joining me. I wasn't really sure what to expect or how it would go, and you got me that fascinated. It's not funny. Hopefully we get a few more people fascinated. I'll have to catch up with Katie and Mike. I could probably do one of these and try and promote what you guys are doing over there, and go from there. Hopefully, I would imagine like it's the Vincent Delaney Memorial Day, or the VDM as you were calling it there before, but it would be tinged with a touch of sadness, I'd imagine, with the family. But I hope you have a good weekend, and keep creating more memories and a lot of fun for harness racing.
Thanks very much. Now it's definitely bittersweet, Paul. It's a kind of it's bittersweet. It's highs and lows. So it's exciting, but it's sad. So, but look, we try to give them the best celebration we can every year, and so far so good, and everyone seems to enjoy it. So, long may it last.
No, absolutely. Just very quickly, did Vincent drive or train?
No, he used to help James with the training of the youngsters. So
yep.
That's kind of why we wanted to involve with the 2-year-olds as well. So for it to be baby races, so that was his. And
Derek, thank you. Really appreciate your time and insight, and well done for what you're doing over there, spreading the word for harness racing. I think it's great, and I do look forward to it. Whether I can get across there next August or not, I don't know, but we'll try. We'll see how we go and try and get across there for the Vincent Delaney, and get around and have a bit of a look around. The one thing that I am envious of is short sleeves. I don't know, we can't quite have them here in Australia just yet, so we are very envious of that warm weather, I must say.
Today is the first day it hasn't rained, I'd say, in about 6 weeks, so it's not often you get to wear it.
No, well, we're not going there. But thank you very much, Derek.
Cheers. Good man.